Irish Arsenal GOONER podcast. It's Tuesday, the 16th of August. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined by my weekly guest at this stage on episode 3 for this season, Eamon Donnelly, Carl Osborne, and Martin Stoneville. How are you, lads?
Oh, good, thanks.
Good evening.
Evening, Jonathan. I see we're on teams there tonight. I was on plenty of good teams with Leeds United there and Don Revy.
I had many a good scrap in my day, all right.
Sorry, I was on great teams myself, under Terry Neal and Don Howe, and they were a great partnership, and I was very pleased with it.
Now, good evening all.
Good to be back, lads, for another show this week. Last week's stats was very impressive. 133 views and 9 likes. Be 3 comments as well, and 803 subscribers. So it's going really well, Martin, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%. So we had a winner to a competition as well. Congrats to Connor, who had the right answer to our question. So, of course, you want to say who it was?
It was Paul Dickoff was the answer, yeah.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't have many entries, but he won the prize. So
Well, the clue we gave was castration.
Yeah.
What does Connor win, Martin?
He won a little Arsenal, Dublin Arsenal Fan.
Number 8.
So yeah, it's just a small gift. So, but I hope he likes it anyway. And we're gonna have another quiz today, I presume.
Yeah.
So we'll just see what else we're gonna do.
Every week, the quiz question will be relating to the match that we'll be playing over the course of that upcoming weekend. So it keeps it interesting. And if any viewers has any comments they'd like to leave on how we can improve the show or what we can add to it, please feel free. It's the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel is where you can catch us, and over the next couple of weeks, when I sort the storage out, it'll be up on Spotify at last. But for the moment, we seem to be going well with the YouTube channel. So 803 subscribers, and I know Martin wants us to get to 1,000, which I think is achieved.
Yeah.
It's definitely achieved.
100%.
So when all viewers who watch the show week in, week out, if you can hit the subscribe button as well as you watch it, and we'll get us 1,000. I'm surprised we've done so well over. I've been holding the show together for the last 2 seasons. So it must be the show host, Eamon, is it? Or
It's all them celebrities we're getting on. It's amazing.
So frustrating, dude.
Oh no, that's a bit late. That's a bit later.
Of course, you can join us for the upcoming game this weekend against Bournemouth, and throughout the season for European games and league games in the Riverbar One Key Dublin City Centre is where you can catch us. On this week's show, we'll be reviewing our 4-2 victory over Leicester City. We'll also be previewing, as always, our upcoming game, which is Bournemouth on Saturday at 5:30, live on Sky Sports. And of course, at the end of the show, we'll be going through our loan feature and going through some of the main talking points over the weekend in the Premier League as well. Particularly Man United's demise and seeing them bottom to the table, which I'm great to see, and long may it continue. I take it no Man United fans to be watching this, so we don't get much abuse. We were there last season, United fans bottom the table, so we know how you feel. In Arteta we trust. We go to the Leicester review, 4-2, a double by Jesus, Xhaka and Martinelli. And for Leicester, an unfortunate OG from Saliba and Maddison. It was at that game myself. The place was hopping. It was nice to see the ultras in the clock end. They really made good noise. I know Carl was there as well on Saturday. It's added another dimension, hasn't it, Carl? The crowd just really seem up for when they're there. Yeah, it's a nice addition.
The atmosphere on there Saturday was actually brilliant. The ultras, that's the Ashburton Army. Good bunch of lads. All young lads. Done a fantastic job, didn't they? It was quite infectious, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to put a mention out there because I thought
Yeah.
they pretty much sang the whole game, didn't they? And I don't think they watched much of the game from what I could see watching them. A lot of them were just out for the jolly, but no, he was good. The atmosphere was brilliant. Yeah, it was a hot day depending where you were sitting in the stand as well.
It was 33 degrees, but it's just to put it back around the ground again. As Eamon said, the young crowd that's going to it now, you're seeing a new generation of fans and on, and it is exciting times, I have to say. And 2 from 2 now. The last time we done that was a couple of seasons ago. We bet Fulham and West Ham, wasn't it? And we just came up stuck against, I think, Liverpool was the next game. But definitely our first 5 games, I would like to think that we can take 15 points, but I'm not going to push things too much yet. No, in relation to the goals, the first goal by Jesus, I thought he pulled the backline, Leicester's backline, ragged all day. He gave Johnny Evans an awful time of it, and it was just Danny Ward they don't really miss Michael Leicester this season. I think Danny Ward is just a mistake waiting to happen every time, and we took advantage of that. There was very little backlift for his first goal. It was just a sublime lob. And the second was the header at the back post. Real striker's instinct there. Xhaka was quick off the mark when Ward made the howler from the cross from White, I think it was, and he tucked it away nicely. Martinelli just gets better and better, doesn't he? Third goal, and his third Premier League goal since the end of last season as well, and buried it in the bottom corner. Saliba's own goal was a bit lucky. It was just a long ball, and he just kind of misjudged, didn't he? He probably didn't see Ramsey coming out, or he maybe didn't give him the shout. And then Maddison's strike was just put everything through it and hoping it would go through Ramsey's legs, which it did. But to be honest, overall, my man of the match would have been Jesus. I thought he pulled, as I said, the Leicester backline apart and went on the flanks when he had to drag them away. I thought a lot of players didn't put a foot wrong for us. And when we were applauding Tillemans off when he was substituted, we'll see you next week, was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Hopefully that deal gets over the line soon enough, because I can see he looks very disgruntled at Leicester at the moment. But another 3 points, first home game of the season, you can't ask for much more. Eamon, what did you make of the result on Saturday?
Well, it was a great result. Every win is a great result. I'm not as wildly ecstatic about what I saw as everybody else. Now, you were there on the day, Jonathan. So when you're there and the sun is blazing and the atmosphere is hopping, you can kind of get swept along in terms of the feel good stuff. I was a bit worried that they ran through us a couple of times that I think that we're going to need to do a bit of work on, and they did early doors, and if they scored after 4 minutes, but I don't want to be your namesake Johnny Giles. That was rubbish there, Bill. It wasn't rubbish. It was a very good performance, but there's still a lot of work to do. It's a work in progress. And this is what I keep saying to people. And remember, I said this after 2 games of the season. When we lose a game we shouldn't lose, will people not go into meltdown? Right? Okay? Because this team is vibrant, it's hungry, it's exciting. The combinations up front are the most impressive thing. And the speed of the combinations in and around the box was absolutely startling. Right? And we are coming. But one of these days we're going to put our toe in a pothole and we're going to fall over. And what we don't want is this hysteria when something goes wrong, because that's a double standard and it will not be tolerated on this show. Not when I've had to deal with it, okay? It's a clear double standard and it's so frustrating, Deirdre. But on the other side of it, our left side looks really tasty. It looks really, really good, I'm not sure about the right side in terms of it's a bit all or nothing with Buck. It's him doing it on his own out there. Now, Ben White's done very well, don't get me wrong, but that same connectivity isn't yet there on the right hand side. You see, you've got 3 on the left hand side because you've got Granit Xhaka and Zinchenko. You're 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martinelli drifting over there. So there's going to come a time when teams are going to work that out. And what we're going to have to do is be able to switch the angle of attack over to the right-hand side and get overloads over on that side. And that's probably why we're still being touted as somebody in the market for a right winger, because I don't think it's going to happen for Nicolas Pepe at this stage. Even though if you looked at a cameo of his performance against Wolves, the 12 minutes he was on that night, you'd say, double his money. I want to mention Granit Xhaka again.
Yeah.
He was outstanding. Played in the right position. And all of this stuff about Tielemans wouldn't get near Xhaka on that team. In terms of, he might look a bit more flash and he might drop the shoulder and beat a man the odd time and hit a nice pass. He doesn't get 90 passes a game. Xhaka does. Xhaka gets the amount of passes that man makes, right? Because he's always looking to receive the ball. He played like a man, liberated. It just looks as if he has decided he is a mainstay in this team. So if we don't sign Tielemans, I wouldn't be sure about him anyway. Let's not all go another target gone, because we've had about 140,000 targets. It's only 11 players, right? I thought we were a bit careless when we were ahead. And you know what? That could be a feed off from the energy of the day and the crowd and the sun shining and all that. But I thought Ramsdale was terrible for the goal.
Yeah.
I thought he was terrible for the goal. He should not be beaten at that near post. No chance.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to book himself up, right? Saliba deserves an Olympic medal for his composure after he conceded the goal. But I'd still have a slight concern about the way the angles are running through us in the middle a bit. Harold Steptoe nearly got a penalty. He should have been. How can he not be booked for that? Jamie Vardy.
I don't understand that. Yeah. If the ref went to VAR,
it's yet another act of cheating from that pointy chin blackguard. I'm sick of him now. And look, again, like the last thing I'll say, Gabriel Jesus. Sometimes a player just looks like he fits into a club.
Yeah.
When Dennis arrived, it didn't happen for him in the first 5 weeks, but as soon as it did, you knew he was a fit for us. This guy is a fit for the Arsenal, and that's great credit to the people who are trying to rebuild the house. You mentioned Man United there, and they should be doing what we're doing. They should be burning the house down.
Yeah.
And that lad should be given a chance to burn the house down, not another fire brigade. So there you go. That's my thoughts on it. But overall, look, great win, some great football, really top football. But I wouldn't be getting I wouldn't be getting too cocky to walk over it. There was a number of things we need to improve.
Yeah. Well, before I come to Martin, what was really refreshing though, and I think Claire will agree with me as well, being at the game, it was the way when we went behind twice, we literally went back in front, within a minute or two. Where another season their head would have dropped and says, right, we're starting to lose hold of this game. So in that sense, it was really refreshing to see the goals by Xhaka and Martinelli so quickly, after losing the goals from Saliba and Maddison. But definitely the heads don't go down anymore as much as they did. Arteta's really drilled a strong mental strength into them, and for such a young team, they bounce back quite quickly, which is refreshing. And as Jesus said after the game to one of the reporters, he says, all I want to do is play games, and he wasn't getting that chance at City, but he's definitely going to get games for us, as long as he says fit. Yeah. Mark, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, of course, like 4-2, it's great result. I actually didn't see the game live because it was on the golf course. But I had my results coming in, which was great to see. And funny enough, like when you don't watch a game with a crowd and you watch it afterwards, I think you have a bit more thing what you can actually see, the details, what's going on, because most of the time I'd be putting up scores, do whatever, on social media. So I don't really watch the game. But there's a few things I really liked about it. Coming back to Xhaka, I think now he's really playing the position he's always supposed to play. that's because Zinchenko is basically helping him out, so he can go up forward. That's what he did. That's why he scored the goal. That's his position. He plays for Switzerland. That's what he should play, and he just needs that defense, like to cover his arse, and that's what they do now. So again, it doesn't work all the time, but there is definitely something like I think there's a position there for Xhaka to maintain. And yeah, like if Tielemans, I'm not sure if he can fill them boots either. But again, it would be a good addition, to have in some Europa Cup league or whatever it is. Like, it's definitely. Second of all, Ramsdale, yeah, again, should happen. That goal is just like it happened before, and that's his weak point, and he has to work on it. And he had it in the last half of last season. He's getting a bit careless. He doesn't have as many clean sheets as yet at the start. Not saying he couldn't do anything about their own goal, but this one was definitely something he shouldn't concede. But look, mistakes happen. It didn't cost us. It was great the way we came back from it, and that's it. But sometimes, these things, if it's a 1-1 or like you're 1-0 up, that could cost you 2 points. So we just have to be careful. But we came back from it like in a really, really great fashion. I think that's something new, which we didn't have last season. Be interesting to see when we actually go behind, if we can do the same rather than just conceding the goal we're still in the head. But yeah, that's one thing to see. And yeah, I titled this episode today like London is on fire because obviously of the heat. Or London is burning. Jesus is on fire. So yeah, look, he's just. I'm actually disappointed that he didn't get a hat trick. He should have had 4 or 5 goals really, because the chances he had, he should have got 5. And I think he was disappointed he didn't get the hat trick. And that's just great to see that a player, even if he scores 2 goals, has 2 assists, was disappointed and has a bit of a thing and says like, well, I should actually done more. And that's exactly what you need. This is the winning mentality, what he brings from Man City. And that's just what's going to make us hopefully a much, much better team this year than we were last year. The rest, look, Leicester, as we said last week, they're not in great shape. The keeper is not there. Vardy is getting old. Maddison, yeah, he had a few good sparks, but he might go. Fofana might go. Tielemans might go. We don't know about it, but like they just didn't look in that great shape. It will be interesting now for us as well to see for a proper team. Bournemouth next week is going to be, you would expect that we get some results there, but you never know. But yeah, we'll see. Our test is going to come when we're going to play like the top 6 or like the ones we think we are our biggest competitors. But beside that, I think it was a really, really good game. The crowd looked amazing. And also you put on a thing. I think they have a band now in the back of it, which is going around. It's just it just makes a great atmosphere, and that's what you can see. You can see it on WhatsApp. You can see it on the social media. We have a younger crowd in now. They're really, really up for that. They're singing, they're dancing, they're making noise, and that's what you want. And it really spills over on the pitch. We not only have a young team, we have a young spectators and supporters now as well. And I think it really makes a really, really good atmosphere.
Yeah, well, it was quite refreshing as well before I go to Carl. How easily Zinchenko and Jesus settled in to the team.
Yeah.
A team of winners, as you said, coming from a coach like Guardiola. You can see they can just settle in fluidly, and the way Xhaka and Zinchenko can switch positions, as well. It's just brilliant. I really like Zinchenko, though. I think he's really settling in really well. And when he was coming out for Tierney, he wasn't sulking. He's on to be a big player. Tierney probably will get in ahead of him once Tierney's match fit. But definitely a great player to count on, and very versatile. Carl, you were at the game as well, like myself. What did you make from your seat?
I'm saying what you guys said, because you've nailed most of the points I was going to say. Well, what I will say is, how good is Gabriel Jesus?
Yeah.
He. I think what we're looking at there is a player that's hungry. He's not been the main man before. He is the main man at Arsenal. He's going for that World Cup place. He's got a chance to be the number 9 for Brazil. And I think you can see all of that in his play. He's just hungry, isn't he? He's just hungry for success. That shouldn't have been a goal. That first goal, he had no right to put that in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'd have scored that last season.
No.
And there was a moment where you guys mentioned it, but when Ramsdale hit a long pass to him,
Yeah.
And he put Johnny Evans on his backside, took it through, and then indeed he came in with a cracking tackle. But you know what? That lifted the crowd. Like the crowd reaction to that alone. That Gabriel's not a big guy, but he put Johnny Evans, who's a big player. He put him on his backside, turned pace, and nearly scored. Well, that could be his hat trick, wouldn't it? So yeah, and I thought Jesus is just, he's phenomenal, and he's exactly what we've needed for a long time. And he just fits the mold of every player on the pitch. Again, you've already mentioned Zinchenko, his energy. I thought the first half was something else. And you've already mentioned Xhaka, and I agree with what Eamon says. If I was Telemans walking off that pitch when he was getting subbed, not to Arsenal fans singing "We'll see you next week," but the fact that if I was Telemans walking off that pitch looking at Xhaka, I don't think I'd be getting in, because he should look at Xhaka. Absolutely played. He is amazing. He scored early on. He had a header hit the post.
Yeah.
He completely changed his game, and I think, Xhaka for me he's been such a player for us this season, and Thomas Partey's going about his business quietly as well in terms of what he's doing, that transition, and he's doing well. But like Jonathan, you hitting when you said about the teams being able to come back, but one of the key words I said to people, I kept saying resilience of the team. When we go a goal down, to lift themselves up, and I haven't seen that for a while with Arsenal. It always used to be, here we go again, and I'm starting to actually not stress out at 1-0, which I used to. My heart rate used to go up, and I used to think, well, when's this going to go wrong? And I'm starting to enjoy the game a lot more, so which is a good thing. But the resilience across the path, it was almost like we stepped it up. Every time we conceded a goal, we stepped up and scored another.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. I think the crowd had a part to play in that. And even I know, like Mikel Artetas said about William Saliba, he's 21. We've got to remember he's 21. And how many players can you see at 21, central defenders, who will score an own goal and then carry on like as if nothing happened? His composure, and like I think Eamon said, his composure on the ball after that. The crowd did get behind him. I thought that was fantastic how we all got behind him as soon as the first touch after he scored the own goal. He had to head that ball, because if he's not, let's be honest, Jamie Vardy probably put it in. To turn a phrase that I heard in the pub, someone said that big Willie of ours has got some big balls. And yeah, I agree, and I think he has. I'll never forget hearing that. But yeah, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. And other than the own goal, out when you look across the back four, he stood out to me. But one thing I will say, and I'll just finish up now on my assessment of it. When we brought Tomiyasu and Tierney on, it changed the game completely. We sort of saw the game out then, and it sort of shored up the defence. And I wouldn't be surprised, if I see Tomiyasu and Tierney playing in the bigger games. To when you've got that more. The Leicesters, you probably see Zinchenko, Ben White, and I think Ben White I thought he had another fair game. I know he took a bit of a knock, but he wasn't bad. And I think it's a long season, and I think people like Ben White, Zinchenko, are going to play. And I think when we play the big top four or top six or big six, whatever it is, I think we might start seeing the likes of Tierney and Tomiyasu when we need to short games out, because it was a different feel when they came on. It was almost like Leicester weren't going to get through after that. It's
great to see though that we can actually bring on like Tomiyasu, Tierney, Nketiah, and who else came on? Who did you just say came on? But anyway, we brought a fourth player on. And they are not like any kind of Mickey Mouse players. The depth of the team that we have now, it just shows that we can really change a game, and we can really surprise people. And I think this is what we were lacking last last couple of seasons. There was no matter of surprise. We could bring Zinchenko on instead of Partey, or play him somewhere completely different, if you need to, and that changes things around,
Absolutely. I mean, you could even see Zinchenko doing a bit of what Xhaka is doing.
Yeah.
On that kind of, the fact that they're so interchangeable, they're ending up with the ball in the same areas of the field anyway, because they're interchanging.
Yeah.
So I think you're right, Ozzy. I think Carl, I think Tierney could be a more solid bet for the games where you're going to have to tough it out a bit.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that's at the expense of Zinchenko. You wouldn't know. And that's what having a squad is.
Having two.
And all of a sudden,
position.
you know, we looked at our bench last year and we kind of said, Jesus Christ, you know, I mean, what do you do there? You know, I'm going to give Charlie George a ring. He's just had a new. I met him in Islington, and he said, I've just had a new hip done. Even at that, Charlie, you'd have made our bench last year. But you know, now you look at it, and you kind of say, hey, we're well stocked. We are well stocked, you know.
Yeah.
And I think to be fair, Jonathan, I think people are getting that. You know, they're beginning to say, hang on. This Adu fella, he might look like an extra out of Narcos, but he knows what he's doing. That guy.
Yeah, I was skeptical, and I think everyone will know from last season. I was skeptical about Adu and Arteta, but now the last two summer transfer windows has changed my mind. There is a plan in place, and we're picking players that will do a job for us, but they're young as well. You know, they're not past their prime neither. You know, they're
going upwards, Jonathan. They're going upwards, and this is what I was trying to explain to the National Society of Meltdown Heads last year. You know, I was trying to explain, like, they're on an upward trajectory, and I'd rather they achieve it with us than somebody else.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, the only way is up for the likes of Zinchenko. He's still so young. You know, he seems to be around forever. When he was with like Jesus.
Okay. But Jesus is only 26, isn't he?
Yeah.
So like, you know, like whatever we have, like this is there for a long time. And that first goal actually reminded me of Alexis's goal he scored. You know, and he came in. I heard it on Asperg. Obviously, they said it as well today. Like he came in from Barcelona where he wasn't utilized properly. You know, and then when he came to us, he just blossomed. And he had his best spell of his career in Arsenal. And when we went to Man United, he fell apart again. But I think we can do exactly the same for Jesus. He really wants to play for the World Cup. So that's this big aim. He can be the number one striker. And fair play to him. He mentioned Nketiah in the interview, you know, like, and said, look, we have two good strikers here. There's a lot of things going on, like, which we don't see. And that's what it is, you know.
I'm glad you raised that, because I was flying the Eddie Nketiah flag all of last season, and he was so. You have to remember when we played Brentford with a COVID team, he didn't even get a start because he was that out of favour, right? So where was he in the manager's thoughts on the first day of last season? And through sheer hard work, even though his contract was running down, through sheer hard work, he got himself onto the pitch. And I was trying to explain to people, this guy, he reminds me of Andy Cole. He scores goals, right? Yeah. And I'd rather he do it with us. And I'm delighted. There'll be plenty of football for that lad. I mean, we're going to be playing, 60 plus games. He'll make 25 starts this year.
Yeah. He's looked really sharp. He's looked really sharp this season.
Absolutely.
Even our second goal against Palace. He didn't really get the credit for that, but that was his play that got that out to Xhaka. He's sharp.
Yeah, not only sharp though, Carl, aware.
Yeah. He's a goal poacher. Yeah, he reminds me of young Ian Wright. Actually, he's got that bit about him, hasn't he? Like, he's a bit of swagger about him, and he's not sulking because he's on the bench neither. He has a smile on his face coming on.
No, he's committed to the club now, and he knows he's going to get his 25 plus starts. It's Project Arsenal, you know.
Yeah, and all the players are playing with a smile on their face compared to a couple of, there was doom and gloom, and we were a selling club, and now you can safely say we don't have to sell our top players every summer now. We're actually buying top players, and that is refreshing. In terms of man of the match, I said myself, I went for Gabriel Jesus, being his first home game in the league for us. He really flourished, I thought, on the day. There were so many I could have given it to, but I'll give it to Jesus just because he's got two. Eamon, who was your man of the match?
Granit Xhaka.
Carl?
I'm going to go Jesus, but it would have been close second, so Xhaka as well. I thought he had a great game.
And Mern?
Yeah. Oh, look, if you... There is, like, if you have 2 assists and 2 goals, like, it's very hard not to give you the man of the match, Between Xhaka and Martinelli, I think he's quietly playing really good games, and he scores his goals, and so, like, I give it to Jesus as well. But there's like these three players were the outstanding ones.
Martin, can I ask you a question, pal?
Yeah, go on.
When you came off the golf course, like,
yes,
the level of research that goes in for this show. Now you need to take this into account. I watched the whole game. Our loyalty to the show. Did you?
I
Did
watched
you,
it
Martin?
after the
Sacked
game. I
in the
did actually.
morning.
And as I say, I actually, as I said, I enjoyed it even more because you can go back. You know, you can see. Like for me, for instance, I don't know how the Jesus penalty wasn't a penalty. You know, like in the second half, like that was a clear foul. And if that would have been Xhaka, it would have been a red card as well.
Well, I'll tell you what's even more of a mystery: how Mike Dean overturned theirs. Mike
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah. Well,
He was
in
probably sitting
fairness,
up in some pub in Seven Sisters, you know.
I think it's not because, being honest with you, I say that would have been given. It's only because Ferdy's wife is a grass. And
yeah.
But by the way, Carl, you live on the mainland. Where is Stockley Park?
Stockley. You know what? I don't know.
We need to find this out.
I'll do some research.
It's
And
a
I'll find out.
VAR
for you.
kind of
Hang on.
orb, you know.
Actually,
I reckon it's in
there's
my
another
thing.
thing about
It doesn't exist.
why wasn't it a yellow card for what's it called, Vardy?
Yeah,
Because they can't if let's say like that, VAR can look at something if it's a red card. They can say it's a red card, but they can't say it's a yellow card. So if the referee would have given like what he did for Xhaka, he gave the dive, and it's a yellow card. If he would have given a red card, VAR could have came in and said no, it's not a red card, it's a yellow card. But because Vardy, he gave the penalty, so VAR looked at it and said, okay, it wasn't a penalty, but it wasn't a dive. They couldn't say it's a yellow card, if you know what I mean. That VAR is just like the way the whole thing. It's a bit like in rugby. You have the referees asking the question, and if they can say something different, then they can overturn it. So it depends on how you formulate the thing. Yeah. But in VAR in football, there seems to be set rules that VAR cannot intervene. Like that, for instance, in the Chelsea game, when your man was Cucurella's hair, that is a straight red card.
Yeah.
How that is not given, I don't know, because this is like violent. They said that there's no rule for pulling hair in football. What?
No, but that Byrne is so bad, it deserves it.
And to be honest, that's
kind of like 1983 Foreigner or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like
I've been waiting, you know. Yeah.
Right. You know, ask you a question, Damien. Stockley Park, West London.
West London.
Yeah.
Well, you see, Mike Dean has to travel a bit to get there from his little pub in Seven Sisters or wherever it is he hangs out with his Tottenham mates. You know,
if that was Jesus that made that dive, I guarantee he would have got a yellow.
Well, Granit Xhaka made a dive last week and he got one.
Yeah.
You know, and that was not even in the box.
Yeah, I think if it goes to VAR and the ref goes to the screen, and he knows he's made a mistake, he should go over to Vardy and give him.
VAR is a complete joke. I remember now, not to kind of go astray, but I remember being at the Palace game, the one that Xhaka actually had the incident with the crowd, and Socrates got a winner that day, and we should have had a penalty. Callum Chambers was hacked in the box. They gave a free out. But we were standing in the ground. I don't know whether you were there, Carl. We were standing in the ground for about 5 minutes. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Whereas at least at the rugby, they're saying, so Carl, what are you saying? You're saying definite contact on the definite. Okay. Can you just check for the forward pass? Okay. And everybody knows what's going on.
I don't understand why they can't do this in football, because there's in every stadium there's a screen. Once it goes to VAR, the referee should be included in that conversation. Simple as that, because they say like, well, he didn't see it. He has to go to the screen to actually look at it after. But if they involve him already in the conversation, he sees it on the screen, he can make up his mind as quick as you know. And it's just like they have to really take a picture out of rugby to make it, first of all, for the crowd more visible, because you know what's going on, because you don't know, there's a decision, whatever. Like how that penalty didn't even go to VAR, I still haven't got I don't know. But anyway, it's just, we got a decision with VAR, so we shouldn't complain.
So I say we bring in Hawkeye and say Ta or Neil.
Talking of screens,
and the white jackets. Get my team to wear one of them. Wave the white flag.
Talking of screens, Jonathan, what do you think of the new screens at the Emirates?
I think they do add to it. Carl, actually seeing it live, you know,
showing the match live, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you sit up
Yeah.
in
Oh, is it? Yeah.
the gods, and they show the time, you
Oh,
read
they
it.
do.
Yeah.
Replays now.
Is
It's showing
there
the whole match.
many changes, by the way? Like, did they change a lot inside, or
Not
what
really.
happened? Besides
It
the
was-
crane
it
was replaced.
It was cheap for kickoff.
Yeah. Actually,
Was it?
I got the away jersey. Sorry.
Do you remember the game that we beat Liverpool 6-3 in the League Cup? And I think Julio Baptista got 4 or 5
Yeah.
of them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that game was originally postponed from December. I
Right.
was at some kind of a Christmas party, and Sergeant Brown said, "Hey Mo, we're going up Malahide. What match on jumbo screen from Ivory?" So they had your man in the
I
pub.
love the
He bought the 2 jumbo JVC screens from Ivory. So turned out
Yeah.
on the night the game was fogged off, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, they played it a few weeks later, and I didn't go out, but the lads went out. He had them out in the back of the pub. So you couldn't see. Like, you have to be about like 40 feet away from them before you'd even get it. Somehow Star Trek, you know.
Yeah. You
No,
can
we could see bugger all up there. Yeah.
you can touch the
You couldn't have
pixels.
a better view of that.
Oh god.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That pub is in Malahide, actually. Yeah, a lad that that actually worked for me was an electrician at the time, and he actually was doing work to set it up. He actually bought half the screen, didn't he? And I think the other half was probably something else. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The name of the pub actually, Malahide.
Gibney's.
That's the one. Yeah.
Kidneys, yeah.
There's a quiz question. Where's half the other screen gone? Oh, Brown's back
Actually,
there.
It's in Sergeant Brown's back garden. Yeah.
Might be a good time for a quiz question now, like, and bring us to Bournemouth.
And Paul will take you around the beautiful countryside of Yorkshire if you get the answer right. Probably the bars more than anything. So yeah, that results from Saturday leaves us second on 6 points behind Manchester City. So it looks like the title's in the bag, lads. Arteta out, I heard Eamon Carney.
Never once.
Never.
We move on to Bournemouth. So that's 5:30 in Sky Sports Premier League. And I don't hit with the quiz question before we go into the preview of it. The question is, in Mikel Arteta's first game in charge on December 26th, 2019, v Bournemouth away, Dan Gosling opened the scoring, but who equalised for us to get a 1-1 draw? First answer correctly in the comment box wins the Dublin Arsenal Fan pack. And I'd just like to mention again, well done to Connor Simpson, who got last week's one. So it keeps it interesting for viewers, know that there's a prize at the end of it. In terms of the preview, Bournemouth's last game was a 4-0 defeat to Man City away. I think they probably would have said to themselves they weren't going to get a sniff there. They seem to be beaten 4 or 5-0 all the time when they go to the ACAST. I know a couple of players they used to play for both teams, Benik Afobe and of course Jack Wilshere, both played for them. I just took note of a few players a few of their key players. Jefferson Lerma is quite a good midfielder for them. He scored against Villa on the opening day. Things will play well with the forwards, and breaks will play quite nicely. Be a nice addition for us. Dominic Solanke, top goal scorer for them in the championship last year, could cause a few problems, big and awkward. And of course, the Republic of Ireland connection, Mark Travers in goal. He was a good shot stopper, but Bournemouth away, it's a tough one to call because Scott Parker, they do play good football themselves, play a lot of it on the ground, don't hoof the ball up. But it's still a championship team that's in the Premier League. They didn't make many additions in terms of player-wise that have Premier League experience. I think it could be a struggle for them on Saturday, but you never know what you're going to get at the Vitality Stadium. I'd probably go with a narrow 2-1 win myself, because they are a good team, and Parker is an upcoming manager. He's done a good job with Bournemouth and at Fulham at the time. Eamon, how do you see the game going on Saturday yourself?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they were a championship team. I'd say they're championship club more so.
Yeah.
But they're the Premiership team because they had 4 or 5 seasons, Jonathan, and then they got the parachute payment. So they never had to, they never had to drop the level of the type of player they were, because they would. The trick once you go down is if you come back straight up, and that's what they managed to do. And they got grounding in the Premier League, and they've given us a few problems. Remember the 3-3 draw, like they got at us, and we came back from 3-0 down actually. Look, we are capable of winning this game, but it's a bit, and I'm sure the manager is concentrating on this. It's work, beyond, on. And if we're on it, we win the game.
Yeah.
But if we're not on it, we don't. But we just look to have a team. Now this could all go horribly wrong, where you could say we turn up and we don't earn the right to play, or things don't go. I'd like to see us see what happens to us if we don't get that goal within the half hour. No, sorry, I'm not saying I'd like to see that. Of course, I wouldn't like to see that. I hate to see that.
To see a reaction,
as a character test, you would wonder what would happen if it kind of went to an hour and it was 0-0. Would we get flaky or not? But we've better players than they have, and if I was to make a prediction, which I hate doing with the Arsenal because I am a Jonah, and I would say I think your call of around the 2-1, if it was going to be an Arsenal win, would be around the margin. I would have thought,
Yeah, it's one of those rounds, the vitality, where the fans are on top of the pitch nearly, aren't they? They can make it hostile when they want to.
But so are ours. Ours. You see, we go down to places like that and we make a lot of noise down there.
Yeah. In fairness, the last few times we can be the loudest when we want to be. Yeah. Carl, how do you see the game going yourself on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a toughie. I don't think it's gonna be I'm not reading into the 4-0 loss at the weekend. I think that I'm more looking at the fact they beat Villa at home 2-0. And Villa ain't a pushover either. So yeah, I'm thinking I was going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal. In terms of going there, the longer the game goes on, obviously more chances are up for them to grab one and make it difficult for us. But yeah, I don't think it's a sure 3 points. But I think our fans will go down there and try and make as much noise as they can. I think the ticket allocation for the Bournemouth was pretty terrible, if I remember right. I've read in a few of the groups that we don't get much allocation of tickets. It sounded quite, it's a bit of an uproar about it. But we went to Palace. We took over Selhurst Park. The fans did, because that's all you could hear on the TV. And I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure that the fans are going to go and do the same for us down there as well. 1-0 Arsenal. It's not going to be easy, but we're more, like Eamon said, we're more than capable of getting a win, and we should be flying high on confidence. So why not?
Yeah, I think with the 5:30 game as well, you know how the other results have gone before you, so you know what you kind of have to do as well. Martin, how do you see the game going yourself on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm looking positive at it as well. So I hope what I've seen in the last 2 games, that there's no doubt that we can go there and get the results. So that's just it. But yeah, anything can happen in football. We've seen this with United, against Brentford. We've seen it yesterday with Crystal Palace, taking the lead against Liverpool. Anything can happen, that there's no doubt for it. But I'm very positive about it, and I'm hoping for a clean sheet. And I hope 2-0. That's my prediction. 2-0, maybe even 3-0. I don't know. I don't want to go too mad about it, but I feel positive about it. But I think they are a good team, but they're much better under Eddie Howe as they were now. They're just coming back up. As you said, they didn't buy really much of new players. And as I said, there shouldn't be any. If you look at our team, there shouldn't be any doubt that we can beat them. And I'm not saying it's easy. No easy 3 points ever. But I'm confident about it.
Yeah, and we are in better shape going into that game. I think all the wins through pre-season and then following it to 2 wins in the league. It's been a great month and a half for us, and long may it continue. That game is, of course, on Sky Sports Premier League, and it's in the River Bar as well. I think we're downstairs, are we, lads, for the game this week? Yeah.
Again, my like last week, my musical career has to give it a sideshow because we're playing it off loan, so I'll have to find some way of seeing it somewhere, you know.
Yeah. Are you going to a car in Bournemouth?
No, I won't be going down there. No, again, ticket issues.
Ticket issues is just absolutely phenomenal, like, you know, and I think because Bournemouth is such a small ground as well, it's kind of like percentage wise where they can only get so many tickets. But yeah, the lads are working hard.
As well as that, Martin, it's a bit like if you play Brighton at this time of year. Everybody wants to go down the south coast in August, you know. So the demand for away tickets would be through the roof, you know.
Exactly.
Even because Liverpool tickets went out to silver members today, and I'm being told they went in a matter of minutes again. North London Derby, the Tottenham tickets went in 12 minutes, which is a record I think for silver. And then soon as red members are coming out, you still manage them on. If you got a red membership, you still get them on a ticket exchange.
That's your only hope. That's your only bloody hope. Yeah.
Someone sells it. But I've had friends that have literally sat there for hours just refreshing the page for one to come up, and that's not always a guaranteed win as well when they do, because someone else might be doing the same. So
you can get tickets. You see tickets, you click on them. By the time you click on them, they're already gone.
It's phenomenal. You have to just keep persisting. You see, this is what I'm trying to explain to the listeners, Martin. This takes a bit of moral courage. You have to keep and be persistent, not be a fancy Dan. You have to keep at it, you know.
You do.
Yeah, isn't it great to see though the demand for tickets?
Absolutely,
isn't it? It's great to see.
It's a sign of the time, isn't it?
Every game now, and every fan is living in anticipation of the upcoming games again. You know, there's such a buzz a week up to the game where you'd nearly be
then two defeats later. I mean, okay, man, he hasn't got a clue yet. He's got a go. He's got a go. He don't know what he's doing, idiot.
Can I just say,
Arteta we trust.
I was knocking around the Emirates on the Friday before the Leicester game because I went down. I stayed in London Friday night because of train strikes, and there was fans gathering around the stadium then, and I even heard it break out into a chant on a Friday before a game. I was outside the Armoury doing stadium tours. People were buying shirts. People were just drinking, sat around the Armoury.
Yeah,
and we're hearing chant on a Friday before the game. You know, it's such a good vibe. And I thought, God, if it's like this the day before a match, what is it going to be like on Saturday? But people were just buzzing. They just come down because of train strikes on the Friday and decided, right, we're going for a drink outside the Emirates. And all the Tollington field was getting busy, and you know, the local pubs were all full of Arsenal fans ready for the game. It was great. Yeah.
That point of lager you were drinking on the WhatsApp there and Friday afternoon while I was confined to barracks and doing a bit of work, you know, looked very, very tasty, you know.
It was a good time. It was a poet's day for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, with the Arsenal membership card as well, lads. Look, I bought the black away jersey in the club shop, £70, but with the discount, £63.50. So that reward card, which is your membership card, that's a nice reduction and stuff. Yeah, really nice.
It's good. Yeah, it's just there. We should be wearing yellow, red and white and yellow.
The black is the black and the pink is I don't know. But look, as the season grows on, I'm sure we'll grow into it, you know. But look, as long as the team is doing well, they can wear whatever colours they want, you know. If it brings us success, we can.
Not only should we be wearing red shorts and white sleeves, we should go back to the tradition where the skipper chose on the day whether we wore long or short sleeves, and the players didn't have a choice. Now, how's that?
Yeah, well, Martin Odegaard, if you're listening, there's the message. You decide. You decide everything, tactics, jerseys, everything. No, but look, it's been a refreshing start. I think we'll all agree. 2 games in, we won't get carried away, but the optimism is definitely, isn't it? Like, there's a big.
Actually, talking about captaincy, like, it's good to see that Xhaka and Jesus was given the deputy for that. So they help him a bit, you know, Odegaard, to do what he has to do. And look, I think it's a good role as well for Xhaka. He might not want to be the head figure, but at least he has a bit of a say in it, because he's probably one of the oldest heads in the dressing room now, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's having a good season. Since that red card against Liverpool in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, I think he's come back. It's really a strong person and a better player, you know. And it's great to see that he owned up to it, and he's gone on from strength to strength. So fair play to you, Granit. You've taken a lot of stick, and you're coming through the other side of it.
I'm giving him a round of applause. There you go. The captain without an armband, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably gets sent off now against Bournemouth. In terms of a bit of transfer news, Pablo Mari's gone on loan to Monza. They've been signing a good few players a note. I think they've got a bit of a cash injection from somewhere. And Runnerson, the goalkeeper's gone as well. I hate to call them dead wood, but I don't think they were ever going to get a sniff this season, lads, were they?
No.
Yeah. And it's nice to see Bolligan scoring again at the weekend for Reims. They raved about him and Patino.
And Nuno as well.
Yeah,
Nuno scored as well.
Again, did he?
But actually the ball hit him on the shin. I think that just
They
wasn't
all
like.
count. They all count.
Yeah,
They all
because if
count,
he'd have
like,
made,
Do you
if he'd
think
have made
Nuno
contact
has
with
a
it, would have
future,
been
lads?
still travelling.
Yeah.
No, fair play to him. No, he seems to hit the ground running there at Marseille, and what they done with Saliba, if they can do the same with Tavares, it's here.
I really think he needs a season where he's playing constantly. He's getting up his mojo, and then he comes back, and then he can fight for it, and that's what you need, and that's what we did with Saliba, and it's so far it works out. So let's hope we can do the same with him.
At the very least, he'd have a resale value.
Yeah. At the very least, yeah.
Alexis Sanchez is at Marseille as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez has gone. Yeah, Marseille as well.
Yeah.
So Arsenal reserves.
Yeah.
Good
doozy. Yeah.
Two hotheads, yeah. It's mad where your career ends up, isn't it? With Sanchez, just really first 2 seasons with us, he was flying, and then for some reason just completely went off the ball. I think he just got overplayed, didn't he? Like, he was playing so many games for club and country, he was just burned out by the end.
He just went to United, that killed him.
Yeah.
Anything will kill you there.
No players ever the same when they go to United. Look at Ronaldo crying there at the weekend. In terms of myself and Martin are going to this. I'm not sure if Eamon's going tomorrow night.
No, I'm not going tomorrow night, no.
A true fan right there. It's in Vicar Street at 8 o'clock. It's featuring my pal who got me into Arsenal, Ian Wright. Emma Byrne, of course, was the women's goalkeeper for Arsenal women. Karen Carney, of course, played for us. And Michael Owen. And tickets are still available on Ticketmaster as well. Should be a good evening. Pity, Carl, you're not over here for that. I think it'd be a good evening with Ian Wright. He's always a good bit of crack, and I'm sure we'll hear some stories. Are you looking forward to it, Martin?
Yeah, definitely. Look, as I said last week, it's anything going in front of a crowd these days is a good thing to do. Yeah. And if it's Ian Wright, hopefully it's even better. So let's see what's coming out of that. Yeah.
If any listeners are listening to it today, tonight, or even early tomorrow, you can still get a chance to go to that Vicar Street Off the Ball. It's quite a good show as well that you have. Is there anything else, lads, you'd like to mention?
There's 2 things just on that. The famous time that we had Eddie Kelly from the 1971 team over. And that would have been the team that I, as age 5, kind of clinged on to, And we were in the Mercantile, and Sergeant Brown says to me, Eddie was there from the night before, and Sergeant Brown says to me, oh, great night with Eddie Kelly, great night. We were up till 7 in the morning, right? I was talking to Eddie Kelly, and he said, that Paul Brown is mad. I went to bed at midnight, I get up at my breakfast, and he's still
Oh god,
classic. But the other one that I wanted to mention, just in case anybody who knows me would know that, let's say Tottenham are playing Chelsea or Man United are playing Liverpool or whatever, like what result are you hoping for? I usually say an earthquake in the middle of the pitch, right? And the other thing I always thought was that Thomas Tuchel looked conspicuously like a serial killer, right? But I noticed something in Arseblog's column yesterday. Our very own Andrew Mangan, but just in case anybody thinks we're one and the same person, we're not, right? But I want to read what he said about the Chelsea-Tottenham game, because he didn't watch it. because he was out for dinner. But he said, to be fair, it's probably something I would have chosen not to watch anyway, unless there was a guarantee of a catastrophic localized weather event or some kind of sinkhole which would have consigned everybody in the stadium to the center of the earth, right? then he goes on to say, however, I have seen clips of the Tuchel versus Conte stuff, and I admit I enjoyed it. It's a shame they were separated, really. As much as the Italian is full of bravado, and I love this, I have no doubt that his counterpart would have won the fight. If you told me this morning that Tuchel had consumed human flesh, that he cooked himself after hunting somebody down in a bleak barren forest, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid. There is something not right beneath that awful cap he wears. That is some piece of prose for the week, I have to say, guys. Hats off to Arseblog. I belly laughed when I read that, you know.
I love Andrew Mangan. Yeah, he comes up with a few bangers, all right. Yeah, I'd just like to mention it again before we wrap up the show for this week. The quiz question again, just to throw it in again. In Mikel Arteta's first game in charge on December 26, 2019 against Bournemouth away, Dan Gosling opened the scoring, but who equalised for us to get a 1-1 draw? First in the comment box, leave your name and the answer, and Martin will give you a Dublin Arsenal fan pack. Exclusive to ourselves. What a nice fan pack it is too. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about the Dublin Arsenal club or anything? No,
we're all cushy.
Yeah. So another top show, episode 3 for this season. I'd like to thank my guests as always, Eamon Donnelly, Carl Osborne, and Martin Stumble.
Evening, Nathan. Oh, sorry, that's news talk. Got a bit doddery there.
We won't have that name mentioned on this show. we want to get over 133 views. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and get us over the 1,000 subscriber mark. But going really well, and we like to thank all our listeners for listening. Also, there's one lad that was behind me in the West End. He knows Eamon. He's from Holt. He had 3 young lads with him. I think he's a coach for a club up there. I think he must be a season ticket holder. I didn't get his name at the end, but he's a top bloke. So like you mentioned,
was that Mark Stanley?
I didn't get his first. He did 3 seasons.
That's Mark Stanley. He's not a season ticket holder. He's a very decent lad, you know.
Yeah, he mentioned you. He says he really likes our show, and in particular, he gave credit to myself and Eamon. You know, it reminds him of Phil O'Hurley and John Giles. That's without even putting on the accent, Eamon.
Anyway, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that wraps up this week's show. You can catch us on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, and over the coming weeks when I get this storage on this heap of shite, be back on Spotify. So until next week, lads, thanks for listening, and have a good week.
See you all.
Have a good one. See you later. Right? Bye.
Next week.